If there's one stadium that can be considered the world's cathedral of football, it's Camp Nou. Since its inauguration in 1957, Camp Nou has witnessed the mesmerizing skills of Diego Maradona, the magic of Ronaldinho and the great Lionel Messi, and even the most dramatic comeback in football history against Paris Saint-Germain in the 2016-2017 UEFA Champions League. But with arch-rival Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu receiving a state-of-the-art renovation, as are 30 other sports stadiums throughout Europe, it's time for Camp Nou to also evolve into its new era of modern football excellence. There's a proposed $1.5 billion renovation plan that will propel Camp Nou into the future, ensuring that it remains the ultimate pilgrimage site for football fans worldwide. But there's one little problem with the project. Let's just say that the club's finances haven't been going well, and the renovation plan is way beyond their budget. This isn't a surprise to most FC Barca fans, but most people don't know how deep this rabbit hole goes. We'll get to that now. Once, FC Barcelona was the only team that didn't have any sponsorship logos on their t-shirts because they didn't need the money. They boasted a solid economic model, bolstered by its massive global fan base, lucrative broadcasting rights, and great income from merch sales, underscoring its unique position in the football world and highlighting the team's commitment to the traditional and purity of football. This changed in 2006, when they broke with tradition to feature UNICEF's logo on their shirts, not because they needed the money, but as part of a philanthropic partnership, further highlighting their unique approach. Fast forward to the present, and the club is currently 1.6 billion euros in debt. How did this happen? To start, the FC Barca weren't doing great in La Liga and were out of La Copa del Rey. Off the pitch, the group faces pandemic-related revenue loss and poor management that has led them to overspend the club's total income on the players' salaries. Guess by how much? Well, FC Barcelona's player salaries represent 103% of the club's total income, meaning they need to renegotiate the players' contracts if they're to turn things around. This mismanagement is part of the reason why the club lost Messi to Paris Saint-Germain, and that was before they began the renovation project, which, at an estimated 1.5 billion euros, is doubling down on their debt. A combined debt of 3 billion euros isn't something the club would love to deal with without a plan. Finally, Camp Nou being under construction would in theory prevent them from getting much revenue from the match games at first, so the club's management needed to find newer sources of income ASAP. But not all is lost. In fact, wait until you discover how all of these struggles have only led the club's management to get creative with their income streams. It all started through a clever deal in 2022 with the music streaming service Spotify. Spotify reached a deal with the management to acquire the naming rights to the stadium for 4 years, in a deal worth $310 million, with an annual contract of 70 million euros. This caused the stadium to be rebranded as Spotify Camp Nou in July 2022. This was a very strategic decision, one many would call a win-win relationship. To double down on this strategy, they also began including musicians' brands on FC Barcelona's club shirt and developed activation strategies with the club players and well-known singers. For example, the activation of singer Rosalia, an FC Barcelona club fan, with posts related to her Motomami album during the week of El Clasico, or by allowing fans to interact with the players' playlists. Spotify being the world's largest streaming platform, with 551 million users, also brings up Barcelona's commercial revenues. They reached 351 million euros in 2023 for the first time, with 200 million euros coming from sponsorships. Camp Nou gets 1.2 million visitors a year, and it's also frequently used for events and concerts, such as Julio Iglesias, U2, Bruce Springsteen and Michael Jackson, or charity and human rights events, even a mass led by Pope John Paul II. Knowing this, the club is also exploring VIP experiences for fans after the renovation plan, turning Camp Nou into a cash cow. Let's just say that, as you'll find out later, the new Camp Nou will mean more than just a 90-minute game. So you can be rest assured that the club's management has already accounted for the extra debt to be accrued from the renovation plan. Camp Nou's main income stream used to be its fans, but now it could very well be tourists outside of gaming season. So what is this renovation renovation plan about? It all starts with the club's current status: concrete deterioration, corrosion of steel reinforcements, and outdated facilities hurt fan experiences when visiting any stadium. And in Camp Nou's case, the wear and tear are more notable than ever. That's because since its opening on the 24th of September 1957, Camp Nou has only seen 3 renovations, one in 1980 to prepare for the 1982 FIFA World Cup, which included the addition of new seating areas, improved facilities, and the construction of a new press box. Then one in 1994 included the stadium's electronic scoreboard, a new VIP area, and the expansion of the museum and club shop. After the stadium's 50th anniversary in 2007, the club issued an international tender for its remodeling. The idea was to turn it into an integrated and visible urban environment. So, on the 18th of September 2007, British architect Norman Foster was selected to lead Camp Nou's restructuring with his company. The plan would include the addition of around 6,000 seats for a total capacity of 105,000. and an estimated cost of €250 million. The project was to start in 2009, with an estimated finish date in the 2011 through 2012 season. But several factors played against this, namely the 2008 financial crisis, causing the sale of the training ground to be postponed. Eventually, this led us to our current situation. Camp Nou's current much-needed renovations are part of a larger project dubbed Espai Barça, because this is really going to be amazing. To start, this project is so comprehensive that it will even remove the field's existing pitch and change up some of its seating arrangements. Not only will it come with the new seating and spaces for members, but members will also have more amenities undercover, a double rink, a new third stand, better operational distribution, and more open spaces for members of the club. There's going to be an upgraded Wi-Fi technology to support the increase in data usage from the club's new technologies, and fans will rejoice at the new underground parking area to improve accessibility, making the first tier of the stadium more vertical to increase game visibility, and adding exclusive Catalan experiences to the stadium before and after the match. And there's more to it. The VIP ring of the first stand will be relocated higher up between the second and third, with an independent double ring that'll increase the capacity of the newer VIP booths. We're also talking about a 360-degree screen inside, a control system, a fancy retractable roof, immersive audio, and AI-powered experiences. With a current capacity of 99,354, Camp Nou is the biggest stadium in Europe, but only 5% of its total space is being revamped. The main goal is to increase its seating capacity by 13,500, with at least half of the total seating being undercover. This will turn it into the third largest stadium in the world in terms of seating capacity, just behind the Narendra Modi Stadium in India, with a capacity of 132,000, and the Runggrado 1st of May Stadium in North Korea, with a capacity of 114,000. Renovations of Camp Nou began after the end of the 2022 through 2023 season, and in the meantime, Estadi Olympique Louis Company has served as Barcelona's home ground. So, do you think these renovations will turn Camp Nou into the most advanced stadium in Europe? Or do you think other stadiums will overcome it on that front? Let us know in the comments below. But wait, there's more. The Espai Barça project will also include renovations to the Palau Blaugrana, which back in 1971 only held 5,695 spectators, and was remodeled to fit the current capacity of 7,585 in 1994. Now it'll be increased from 10,000 to 15,000 spectators on match days, and 18,000 overall. The new Palau Blaugrana will also be used for new cultural events, such as concerts and other entertainment attractions, to keep revenue flows as active as possible. Construction for the new Palau is budgeted at $420 million and expected to start in early 2025, pending municipal permits, with completion being likely by the end of 2027. It'll also include the Petit Palau, a renovated ice rink, and even a parking area for coaches. But don't think that these are the only areas of Camp Nou that will be seeing an upgrade. The FC Barcelona Museum is also included in that package. The FC Barcelona Museum already attracts millions of visitors a year, but there are plans to transform it into a major revenue-generating asset for the club, leveraging its rich history and global fan base. The club is planning to introduce a state-of-the-art interactive exhibits using augmented reality or AR and virtual reality or VR to allow fans to experience historic matches, interact with legendary players, and explore behind-the-scenes areas of the stadium. They'll also be implementing touchscreen displays and immersive audio-visual experiences to make the museum more engaging for visitors of all ages. The Barca Hall of Fame and Barca store will also be renovated alongside it. The impressive new Camp Nou should be ready to host matches by the end of 2024 or early 2025. Executing these plans to meet the timeline hasn't been as smooth as expected, due to Turkish constructor Limak having to slow down work on Saturdays due to complaints from neighbours living in the area. But this is just a minor inconvenience, and if all goes well, we'll soon see Camp Nou recovering its former glory. It's safe to say that Camp Nou will soon become more than just a stadium. Its entire neighbouring area will be turned into the most immersive sports experience in the world. We eagerly wait until renovations are over to see Camp Nou trump each of its rival stadiums. Mesque un club indeed.